Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
And today we're reviewing Faraway from Pandasaurus Games. Faraway is a 2 to 6, I think 2 to 6, yeah. I think I actually played it at the full 6-player count. I played it at the 2-player count, the 4-player count, I have 3-player count. I don't know if I've done 5. I may have done 5.
You know, who knows?
I play this game a lot. Well, you play this game a lot. This is Faraway from Pandasaurus Games. This is a 2 to 6 player game in which you're basically trying to, in like 20 minutes, it's a very short, fast-paced game, you're going to be assembling a bunch of cards. You're going to be playing cards to gather new cards. The cards you play are going to go into a sequential row, and then when you're done playing 8 cards, you're going to score all the cards in reverse order. If that made no sense to you, that makes sense. It shouldn't make that much sense to you because I haven't shown you exactly what's happening, but I will right now because this is how you play the game. The general idea is you start with 3 cards, or at least in the basic mode you start with 3 cards. In the advanced mode you're going to start with 5 cards and then pick 3, which honestly I really recommend. Once you're done with your first game, just go straight to that mode. It's a better system. But you're going to be playing your cards. You're going to have the cards you start with over here after you select your 3 cards, and then you go ahead and look at the cards that are currently out, which is equal to the 1 plus the number of players, and then you go ahead and play a card of your choice. And so, for example, in this case, I'll go ahead and play this. Well, actually, I'll play it face down. Meg, do you want to play a card too?
Sure.
We're going to play cards face down. You don't know at all that I'm playing a 29. Neither does Meg, for that matter, because I didn't say it out loud. But we're going to go ahead and play our cards. We're going to reveal them. And she played a 34 to my 29, which means I go first in picking the next card. Now, this card is going to be added to my journey. The card you play both determines the card you get. It also gets added to your journey, where it'll score at the end of the game. But because I played the lower number over there, I get to choose one of these cards. And I'm going to go ahead and choose, honestly, none of them work well with what's going on over here. But I do at least want this over here, because it might help with this. And also, it's going to help with that. I'm going to take this one. And to you, Meg, you get to pick one of the remaining cards.
Oh, I'll take the 68.
68 it is to you. The remaining card gets discarded, and there you go. That's round 1. We're done. Round 1. We're going to show you 2 or 3 rounds, and then we're going to build out a scoring system. So, next round comes out. We go ahead and play these next cards coming out. Remember, Meg and I now have cards in our journeys. And now we're going to go ahead and play our next card. And I will play a... Oh, I should have gone in a different order, I'm realizing now, but it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and play this one over here. Okay? We reveal. I have a 53.
60.
So I'll be picking first, but now we have a new system in play. Whenever you play a higher number than the number before it, you're going to draw a card from the treasure thingies, or there's a name for those, but whatever the treasure cards are, the maps. But because right now we're going to draw 1 card each, and I'll show you something soon enough about how you can draw more than 1 card. Oh, that's actually perfect. Meg grabbed me this card over here, which you'll see how that works shortly, but not this second. This card gets added. These are extra cards that go on top of your journey, and now we have our cards, and once again, we go ahead and take cards from the center here, and I'll go ahead and gather, you know what, we already are being rewarded with pineapples. These pineapples, and by the way, they're not called pineapples. They have a totally different name. It is what it is. But either way, I'm going to double down on that system over here by grabbing this card, which will give me 3 points for each one of those, and this one will give me 2 points, and we'll have that card to you, Meg.
Okay, and I guess I will take number 21.
21 it is to you. Okay, and then we go ahead and draw, maybe this card goes away, and then we're going to do one more round before we just go straight to a scoring to show you how that plays out. So, we're going to go ahead and do this one more time. I have selected my card. I'm good to go. And I will play a 66. So now Meg is going to go first because she played a 21. She restarted her numbering, which means she will not draw a map card. I, on the other hand, will draw a map card because it's still ascending order, but I'm also going to draw an extra one because every map symbol you have, you draw 1 extra card. So I'm going to draw 2 cards, but I only keep 1 of them. And so in this case, I'm going to keep that because I think this will help me score for this.
Well,
so I'm going to go ahead.
Technically, Alex, you don't have to choose which of those you keep until you draft your card from the market.
That's true. So right now, let's go ahead and see what Meg drafts before I finalize what I get.
I'll take number 35.
Number 35? There's no 35.
55, sorry.
55 it is.
That was from where I'm sitting.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I will take, you know, this needs pineapples and it's going to be a treasure chest. I'll take this one over here. And this one I'll go ahead and discard. That's basically the sequence you're going through. You're playing cards over here to try to gather more cards. And then basically what you're going to have is at the end of it all, you're going to have a scoring system. And I'm going to go ahead and just put some cards in play. This will not be the best scoring system you'll see because, frankly, it's going to be a little random.
The chaos.
The chaos over here, exactly. But let's go ahead and place some cards in play. Let's go ahead and place this over here. And then we'll place this down over here. And let's try to get some more pineapples in play because I would have tried to go for pineapples. Just given again, they're not officially pineapples, but it is what it is. I'm going to place this down here and then this down here. And we'll finally go ahead and place this down here.
It's terrible order.
It's a terrible order.
28, 14, 12, 2.
It's not
I don't
efficient.
think you would have done
It's not
that.
efficient. I would not have done it. But because of that, we'll go ahead and say that, after this, honestly, this goes 60, 28, 14, 12, 2.
Like, that would have even let you draw.
Sure. And then I go ahead, and because the final play, I'd have 1, 2, 3 map symbols. So I'm going to draw 4 of these and keep one of them. So I'm going to draw these over here. And we'll go ahead and draw these, and I will keep a pineapple. There's no pineapple. I'll just keep this blue symbol there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and score things. Now, the way you score in the game is for simplicity's sake, and you don't have to do this. It is definitely better when you start off, but you're going to go ahead and flip the remaining of your cards face down and then go through a reverse scoring on your journey. So the way that works right now is we're going to start with our last card, and these over here, these temple cards you've gotten, they stay in play the entire time, but this card over here just came out, and right now I look at this card and I say, look, it scores me no points. I flip the next card and I say, look, that scores me no points. I flip the next card, this one will score me a point. It specifically is going to score me 2 points for every night card, but only what you see visible. Because as the cards get revealed, you're only scoring for what's visible on these cards and always these, which means I again get no points. I flip this one and I get 3 points for every one of these symbols over here, of which I again get no points. I usually am a little better when I'm not doing it randomly. I'm going to flip this next one over here, where you now get 16 points if you have 2 of these and 2 of these, but I don't have 2 of those. This is a scoring requirement, so once I unlock this requirement, I can score that, but I don't have those symbols, so I can't score it. With the next card over here, this one, I can finally score 20 points because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only need 4. I get the 20 points. We go to the next one. If I have 2 pineapples, I score 4 points per orange card. I do have 2 pineapples, so therefore I score 4 points per orange card for 8 points. And finally, I flip this, where I get 2 points per pineapple. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 6 points. And then lastly, on these cards, you look at any scoring requirements, and this one will be 1 point. So 1, 2, so it's going to be 2 points for these 2 night cards. This is a day symbol, this is a night symbol, sometimes you score for the night symbols. That's basically how you play Faraway. You're basically going to go through a drafting system where you draft a bunch of cards, play cards, try to draft the right cards, try to sequence them together in the ideal order that's going to score as many points as possible, and that is how you play Faraway.
The idea is that you're traveling out far away and then you are coming back home.
Yes. And with that, you want to dive into a review, starting off with, what's it called? What we like, don't like, and conceal that's not liking, starting off with what we like. Meg, do you want to tell us what you like about the game?
I really enjoy the clean set collection. There are only 3 sets that you're going for in the entire game, plus the map symbols, which can give you an extra boost. So it's really tight I'm not resource management, but planning out these different symbols that you're going to be playing, because there aren't many, but you're going to realize quickly that some cards don't even have symbols at all, and it can be really, really tricky to all of a sudden have a lot of a certain type of symbol.
Yeah, there's a fascinating puzzle going on in the game, which you're trying to figure out the sequencing of everything. And the sequencing both in terms of the way you're going to play ascending orders, but often the higher value cards, the higher end of the spectrum, things like this over here, if you play these later in the round, you can't really get the 5 symbols you need. If you play it early in the round, you're going to have to reset your hand to be able to work your way back up, which does result in a nice little challenge of trying to figure out what the right tempo is between how do you start small and work your way up. Do you start big with 1 restart? Do you start big and have 2 restarts? There is a trade-off every time you restart your numbering system, but it's a trade-off that can pay off on the actual cards you got. And so a big part of the game is going to be trying to figure out when you actually go ahead and continue that ascending order versus how often you just need to restart your cycle to get more out of it.
I think another big piece is not only the sequencing, but also the push and pull of the drafting with the different numbers, because yeah, you want to stay in this sequencing, but if certain cards come out that you absolutely need, especially some that have double symbols, there are a few that have that, then it can be really, really important to kind of pivot your strategy and play a lower numbered card, because then you're higher in initiative to take the thing that everybody else wants, even though that might not be the thing you wanted to do because you wanted to draw more of these cards. So I think really quickly, especially later in the game when people start locking in their strategies, it can become really free-for-all between the different things that you're trying to do too.
Yeah, speaking of those cards over here, these cards are hugely fun to add to the game, and the fact that they stay in play no matter what, in a game that you're constantly forced to try to figure out, okay, what's the right order, what's going to be revealed, these gives you a nice little boost of extra symbols, extra abilities that are always in play, and so they're incredibly satisfying to get, but also to chase after. And then again, going back to those trade-offs, do you want more map symbols to have more control over those, or are you comfortable just, risking it and just getting extra cards? There's a lot of trade-offs going on in this very small game. Speaking of small, the fact that the game plays in like 20 minutes, it makes it incredibly accessible, easy to play, and personally I found that it works well at every single player count. Every single player count is a very fun puzzle, and again, it just moves quickly and is highly accessible at all those player counts.
One final thing I'd like to note too that I don't always bring up, but this is a very affordable game. I want to say this is maybe $25, something like that. Check it out.
Honestly, I think even cheaper. I think 25 would be like retail if you're buying
Yeah,
it online.
I think you
Probably
can
cheaper.
find this really affordably. It's also on BGA, but for a game that packs such a punch, I think it's super accessible.
Yep, agreed. As far as things you don't like, anything you don't like?
You know what, Alex? I was trying to rack my brain for things that I don't like about this game, and there's one thing that I really, really don't like. There's no solo mode.
Interesting.
And I feel like for something like this, you could easily maybe do that and maybe simulate and have two boards or something. I'm not
Yep.
sure. But I think there are a lot of really fun, unique things you could do with a solo mode for this game that I'm kind of angry there isn't one yet.
That could be interesting. I would almost want to see a Calico style solo mode where you're like, start with these cards and score this many points.
Oh, that would be
Because
really
I like that
interesting.
challenge of like, oh well, if you have these and they get 72 points while having at least 5 maps.
That almost makes me think of the Mythic Mischief
Mm-hmm.
catch puzzles that they've done.
Yeah, I like the idea of 72
Yeah.
points with 5 maps. Score 68 points with 6 knight symbols. That could be a fun little puzzle. For me, the one thing I don't like is at the end of the day, as much as I do enjoy the game, and I do enjoy the game, I'm going to come back to that later, at the end of the day, I do feel a lot of what you're doing is scripted. Meaning, not without agency, to be very clear. It's not that there's no agency at all, there's plenty of agency, but I think once you get up a tempo or vibe of what you're going for, which happens in the first 2 or 3 cards, especially that first 5-card draft, and again, I highly recommend playing with the draft where you have the 5 cards, you select 3, otherwise it's even more forced.
Once you know the
But
game, yeah.
once you're moving into your first few rounds, I would say for me, it's rare that I feel strongly torn between multiple cards. I usually have a good sense of what's working for my strategy. Oh, I need a bunch of these. I've decided I'm going for scoring for maps and scoring for the antelopes. Again, they're not called antelopes. They might be called maps. But past that, I do feel you get locked in pretty quickly, which again, it makes sense. This is a game with 8 cards. So once you have 3 cards, that's 3/8 of your game. It makes sense to follow through. But it also means that the main focus of choice does seem to be on the early game. And so that's the biggest complaint I have around it, where it's very enjoyable, it's very fun, there's definitely some agency, but I feel the further you get into the game, the less there's actual agency and the more your moves are pre-scripted, and because it's only 8 cards, that happens pretty quickly.
I do think, too, there's a lot of synergy with the point scoring and how the different things work with each other, like what symbols can contribute and what they also require to be activated. So I think there is a lot of balancing there. Like, for example, here, this 55 card, it gives you a map symbol. It requires those two, but it also provides the third type of symbol, and
Yep.
it provides scoring for that type of symbol. So there are some that can have a whole lot going on the card. And the one thing I noticed is there's the day and night mechanic where day cards and night cards can score you differently depending on certain scoring modifiers you have. But I felt that never really had enough consequence. That is the one and only thing that I was never like, ooh, I really want to grab a day card or a night card. The only time that would change my decision is, like, for example, here, if one of these that I was drawing, it would add to scoring, but like anything else wouldn't. So that's my only thing, is the day and night didn't really seem consequential for all of the other symbols that do.
Enough. Well, that just
Yeah.
means expansion time.
Yeah.
As far as final thoughts, where are you on this game?
I really like this game, you guys. I think that it might not have come across in this because we are being very straightforward, because it is a very straightforward game. It's basic set collection and drafting. It's pretty, easy to understand and hard to master. And I really, really love it. This is one that I learned at Dice Tower East, and I have not stopped playing it ever since. It is on BGA. Feel free to invite me to a game, please. I'm Professor Mag over there. But this, I think, is my first 5 on the channel. Oh, it's a 5
Period,
for sure.
or the forever, or for the year?
For the since I've been rating. My first
Interesting.
official 5 in a review.
Interesting.
I think so. I think it is.
I can't say I'm that surprised based on how you've been playing this game.
I love this game.
For me, I'm close. I'm not quite there, but I'll say for me it was a slow burn. I played my first game. I was like, this is cute. This is cute. I think it's a cute game. And then the more I played it, the more it did become addicting, which almost, to a certain extent almost like undermines my own critique of it, where the more I saw the way cards played out, the more I did feel a sense of, okay, I see how to plan for this now, okay. And then because it has that fast 20-minute game time, it just has that, just one more. The amount of times I've played one game that turned into 4 or 5, I don't want to talk about it. This is probably my most played game of the month. Again, it is the combination of being fun, quick, good at different player counts, good in person, good on BGA, 20 minutes, all those things make this easy to table. For me, I'm coming in at a 4.5 out of 5. I am very, very impressed by this game. It's another Pandasaurus small box hit.
I would say, too, I just really love this game, you guys. I think that it is very competitive, but that being said, you feel very much like you're doing your own personal puzzles and that it's on you if you're failing and you're not, triggering these symbols to get these different points. So where it can be very cutthroat, especially with the drafting and everyone's trying to take specific symbols. It can be very competitive, but a lot of it is you're working within your own personal puzzle. So it is, I don't know, kind of like a feel good at the end of the game too, that you more feel like you didn't get your thing working the way you should have, as opposed to people taking something from you.
Yeah. As far as other game recommendations, you have anything there?
I was thinking really hard about this one, and for me it was difficult, so I tried to think of things that gave me a similar feel. And my first thought is Sushi Go Party, where that's very clean drafting set collection, where you're trying to, think about what you're giving to other people as well as what you're keeping. And also, I found it 2-player. It reminded me a lot of Lost Cities.
Interesting.
Where that's just something that's, again, very thinky, where you're planning ahead for what you're doing. In Lost Cities, you're playing cards on either side, and you start off in the negative, so any row you decide to go into, you're already starting off behind, and then you have to catch yourself back up. So it kind of gave me that feel of, you're kind of putting yourself in debt for certain symbols, and then you have to get yourself caught back up to be able to pay for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't have a good direct comparison to what this game feels like, which it does feel fairly unique as how it goes. But I did have that sequencing aspect, where if you enjoy the kind of sequencing, check out the 10 Days in the USA series. Very different game, very, very different. But it's going to have that kind of linking journey aspect to it. If you like the principle of the journey, you want a very different game around it, 10 Days in the USA is a great one to check out. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
And have a good one.
Bye.